Hello, students. Today we are going to do another chapter, All Summer in a Day by Ray Douglas Bradbury. Ray Douglas Bradbury was born on 22nd August 1920 in US. He was an American fantasy, science fiction, horror and mystery fiction author and screenwriter. He was widely known for his novel Fahrenheit 45L as well as his science fiction and horror story collections. Bradbury was one of the most celebrated 20th and 21st century American writers. The main characters of All Summer in a Day are Margot. She's the main character in the story. She's a delicate and pale child. She's an introvert and doesn't want to mix up with anybody. She moved to Venus when she was only 4 years old and she remembers the sun. She remembers the beautiful life on Earth with the yellow light and without constant sound of raindrops. Here on Venus, the life without the golden sunshine is very boring and depressing. Next is William. William is the antagonist in the story. He's the main culprit who talks or takes action on behalf of other children. He is jealous, kind of a boy, who is devoid of any feelings, and this may be due to the absence of the sunlight on the planet Venus, on which he lives since his childhood. His power of thinking has lost and limited to certain activities only. He fails to understand Margot and speaks of her in a harsh tone. He shoves her and asks the other children to behave in the same manner. There is no mention of his appearance, so one can only understand him by his nature. The next is the teacher. The role of the teacher is momentary. The name of the teacher is not mentioned and nothing much is told about her. But still her presence is felt and still she is a part of the children's world. She does her duty, scolds William, keep an eye on children, but all are very limited. She is unable to know where the children have kept Margaret, but she is vigilant and it is clear from her instructions to the children not to go too far when the sun appears. Now the children are the background of the story after the main characters, Margaret and William. All Summer in a Day is set on the planet Venus and describes in vivid detail the day when the planet experiences sunshine and even that occurs only once in 7 years. The scene is set in a school when the teachers and children await the appearance of the sun. The story explores the darker side of human nature that is manifest even in children, as they pick on Margaret simply because they see her in a different form from them. Bradbury's tale ends in a note of hope as the children seem to feel shame and remorse for their thoughtlessness. Ready, ready, now, soon. Ready, here the child is asking, are you ready for the sunrise? Another child answers, ready. One child asks again, now. Is it going to happen now? Is the sun going to rise now? The other answers, soon. Do the scientists really know? Will it happen today? Will it? So another child asks that do the scientists really know? Will it happen today? Will it? Look, look, see for yourself. The child prays to each other like so many roses, so many weeds intermixed peering out for a look at the hidden sun. Here, one of the child says, look, you can look for yourself. The child prays to each other like so many roses. Now, children are being compared to roses. So many weeds. Weeds are useless, small plants, intermixed peering out for a look at the hidden sun. It rained, but it kept on raining. It did not stop. It had been raining for 7 years, and for 7 years it had been raining. Thousands upon thousands days compounded and filled from one end to the other with rain. So everywhere it was rain. It had been raining for years with a drum and gush of water. There was so much of water coming, you know, with the sweet crystal fall of showers and the concussion of storms. Here, water was falling, the rain was falling in different ways. It sounded like a drum sometimes, sometimes gush of water, gush of water means flowing rapidly with the sweet crystal fall. Sweet crystal fall is water drops. And of shower and the concussion of strong. That means it was coming in a violent shock, in a heavy blow. So heavy they were tidal waves come over the islands. Now these waves, these rainfall came as tidal waves because everywhere it was flooded. 1,000 forests had been crushed under the rain and grown up 1,000 times to be crushed again. So these forests were crushed due to the heavy rainfall, and they would grow up again, and then again they would be crushed. And this was the way life was forever on planet Venus. So that is how their life was on planet Venus. It kept on raining all the time. And this was the school room of the children of the rocket men and women who had come to a raining world to set up civilization and live out their lives. So these people had come to Venus, with their these rocket men and rocket women with their children to set up their homes over there, to set up their life, a civilization. The Rocketmen had come there for a better future, for a better life. As you know, one is not satisfied with what one has. It is stopping, it is stopping. Yes, yes. Here the children are very excited about the sun. We always have seen the sun shining, so we don't know its value, but these children have not seen it, as when the sun appeared the last time they were only 2 years. Margaret stood apart from them, from these children who could ever remember a time when there wasn't rain and rain and rain. So the moment Margaret had come from Earth to Venus, she does not remember any time when there wasn't rain, and she was standing apart from them. They were all 9 years old right now. They're 9 years old, and if there had been a day 7 years ago, so they would have been 2 years old that time, and they don't remember which the sun looked like. Even if they remember it, it must be blurred and hazy. When the sun came out for an hour, so it came out only for an hour, and showed its face to the stunned world, they could not recall. So it was not clear to them how it looked like. They don't remember. Sometimes at night she heard them stir in remembrance. At night when they were sleeping, they had dreams about it. And she knew they were dreaming and remembering gold or a yellow crayon or a coin large enough to buy the world with. Now, this is the idea of the sun of children who had never seen the sun. They remembered something of gold color or a yellow color crayon or coin which was large enough to buy the world. She knew they thought they remembered a warmness, like blushing in the face, in the body, in the arms and legs and trembling hands. Now, this is what Margaret thinks, that the children on Venus must be remembering, the feeling of warmth on their skin. But then they always awoke to the tatting drums. Now, when they wake up from their dreams, what did they hear? The tatting drums, that is the pattering drums, the pattering rainfall, the endless shaking down of clear bead necklaces upon the roof. The walk, the gardens, the forest, and their dreams were gone. It would be raining endlessly, and their dreams would be gone. All day yesterday they had read in class about the sun. The previous day, in anticipation of what they would be seeing, they read about it in the class. About how a lemon it was and how hot. So, how it looked like a lemon and how hot it is. And they had written small stories or essays or poems about it. I think the sun is a flower that blooms for just 1 hour. So some have written small stories about the sun or an essay, while others a poem. Someone imagined it like a flower that blooms just for 1 hour. Here, imaginary has been used here. That was Margaret's poem, read in a quiet voice in the still classroom while the rain was falling outside. So, Margaret was reciting this poem. These lines are written by Margaret. I think the sun is a flower that blooms for just 1 hour. So, this is written by Margaret. She is reciting the poem in a quiet voice In the still classroom where the classroom is still while the rain is still falling outside. Ah, you did not write that, protested one boy. So one boy said, you did not write that poem as he was jealous of Margaret. I did, said Margaret. I did. So Margaret retorted by saying, I did. So the teacher intervenes by scolding William. But that was yesterday. This bullying had taken place a day before. Now the rain was slackering, so the rain was slowing down, and the children were crushed in great thick windows. And children were crushed upon write that poem as he was jealous of Margaret. I did, said Margaret. I did. So Margaret retorted by saying, I did. So the teacher intervenes by scolding William. But that was yesterday. This bullying had taken place a day before. Now the rain was slackering, so the rain was slowing down, and the children were crushed in great thick windows. And children were crushed upon one another to watch the sun, and due to rain, there is green foliage or window. That's why thick windows. Where's teacher? Asked one. She'll be back, another answered. So the first one said that the teacher should hurry, else they would miss it. They turned on themselves like a feverish wheel, all tumbling spokes. Simile has been used here. The children are compared to a wheel, meaning they were all turning against each other and arguing, showing excitement. Margaret stood alone, so she was standing alone away from the other children. She was a very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years, and the rain had washed out the blue from her eyes and the red from her mouth and the yellow from her hair. So this is what the sun had done. The absence of sun had done to her. She was an old photograph dusted from an album, whitened away, and if she spoke at all, her voice would be a ghost. She looked like an old photograph that has a layer of dust formed on it, and her voice sounded like that of a ghost. Now she stood separate, staring at the rain and the loud wet world beyond the huge glass. So she was standing separately, Margaret was standing separately and looking outside the window. There was no one with her. What are you looking at? Said William. Now, this boy is bullying her again. What are you looking at? He's asking Margaret. Margaret said nothing. She did not reply back. Speak when you're spoken to. Now, this is a harsh tone and it tells you that he was a bully. Thank you for watching. Part 2 will be in the next video. Please like if you have understood and subscribe to my channel for the latest updates.